This is Michael Mastro. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to look at the chart of Daniel Ellsberg, who was the Pentagon Papers whistleblower. He actually leaked sensitive information that was a study on the viability of the Vietnam War and how it was really not sustainable, and a lot of lives were being wasted. So first we're going to look and see how the planets are operating, when they're operating, and what could be done to strengthen the chart. If you look to the eastern horizon using Vedic sidereal zodiac, you would see the constellation associated with Gemini rising at 13 degrees. And may he rest in peace. He just passed away recently. So Sun is weak and afflicted by Rahu. It's ruling the third house of success and placed in a career house. And so it is giving success through political activism. Sun is about politics and leadership. And because it's afflicted, it's very controversial and caused him a lot of difficulties. And then we have weak because it's poorly placed in the challenging sixth house, Moon. It's also debilitated in old age. And it is ruling the second house of wealth, fame, and continuation of the marital bond. And gives him wealth through his consulting and analytical abilities, and gives him great compassion to help heal the planet, sitting in the sixth house of health and healing. Then we have weak, debilitated Mars. Mars was ruling the house of income. So it gives income through his, Mars is about military analysis, and his controversial political activism. Then we have Mercury is fairly strong, gives him great brilliance and intelligence and analytical abilities, and especially to do with economic. He was an economist, and it rules the house of happiness, so that brings him happiness. Then we have Jupiter, which is also fairly strong, in the house of life purpose and health and vitality. Jupiter is related to, signifies pancreas, and he did have pancreatic cancer. Now, Jupiter is ruling the house of partnerships, so it's his partnerships with the New York Times in leaking the Pentagon Papers over the viability of the Vietnam War that were very crucial to his helping to end the war. Weak dispositor Venus. Venus is ruling the fifth house. And Venus is sitting in the house of politics. So gives him, and good fortune. So it gives him good fortune through social justice, through gives him actually creativity is the fifth house. So creativity through educating others about political issues, and because that Venus is weak, the fifth house also has to do with pancreas. Then we have weak old age Saturn at 29 degrees, ruling the house of good fortune. So it gives good fortune through social justice. The ninth house has to do with morality and justice. And he really challenged the war on a moral basis. and he was very much against nuclear proliferation. So Saturn and Venus, you're working to help humanity gain peace. Then we have challenging Rahu and Ketu, malefic, balancing the spiritual and material, balancing work and home life. Rahu gives great desire for success in career and over family, so he did have one divorce. Let's see here. So let's look at the timing of events. So he leaked the Pentagon papers in 71 during a Moon-Saturn period. Moon, again, and Saturn, wanting to help to be of service for moral issues. And then in 73, he was charged with conspiracy during a Moon Mercury period. Mercury, having to do with, happiness there. So really risking his career and freedom for doing something he felt was the right thing to do. And then in 74, it says 73, but it's in 74, the charges were dropped during a K2 period, so unexpected events, and K2 ruling that house, K2 having to do with liberation and in that fourth house of happiness. And then in 2006 and 2009, both during Saturn periods, he got prizes for his efforts to bring peace to the planet, which Saturn rules that house of good fortune. And then March of 23, he announced he had pancreatic cancer, and decided not to have treatment at the age of 92. And then he passed away on June 16th of 23. And that was during a Saturn K2 period. So K2 is afflicting, if you look at the transit chart on the left, the outer circle is where the planets were when he passed away, and the inner circle are where the planets were when he was born. You would see that K2 and Rahu are close to the most effective point within 5 degrees, and they're afflicting 6 out of his 12 houses, and particularly they're afflicting Saturn, which is indicated for longevity, and the first house, which has to do with longevity in the body, and the 5th house, which has to do with pancreas. And then also Rahu is afflicting Jupiter. Rahu is poison cancer, and Jupiter is the significator for our pancreas. What could be done to strengthen the chart? Well, his whole life was about service, so that gave him great longevity. There's a lot of weak planets in the chart. That would transform Rahu and Ketu, and then the rest of the planets could be strengthened with my favorite remedy, a kavash, which is a silver locket containing the Devata yantras for those planets that need strengthening. If you're interested in seeing or ordering a kavash or getting a reading or learning Vedic astrology, go to www.vastucreations.com. Thank you so much for listening.